Hello, my Aquarius friends. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Teri Hunter. I'm an intuitive astrologer, and I'm here today with your April 2025 monthly horoscope. These horoscopes are based on whole sign Western astrology. So when I'm referring to Aquarius, I'm referring to Aquarius rising as the first house and dictating the landscape of the chart. If you don't know your rising sign, you'll want to go to any one of the free birth calculators on the internet. You just need your exact time and location of birth to determine that information. When I refer to a day and a time, it's based on the Pacific time zone, so please adjust for your location. I also want to say that if you are familiar with astrology and you are a late degree Aquarius rising, anywhere from say 15 to 29 degrees Aquarius rising, you probably want to look at your chart in Placidus because your first house will shift. A lot of it could be Piscean. It could be even a little bit of Aries, depending upon how your chart is divided up. For me personally, I'm a 26-degree Aries rising. I have all of Taurus energy in my first house and a wee bit of Gemini energy. So I really am very Taurian and very Aries as well. So this is an important thing to differentiate because it will help you understand your perceptive. The first house is the house of self and how you see things. So I see things from an Aries, Taurus, and a Gemini perspective. All right, let's talk a little bit. We're going to have a full moon on the 12th of April at 23 degrees of Libra at 5:22 p.m. Pacific time. If you're not in Pacific, so adjust for your location. This is a pretty significant full moon. I'll be doing a separate video on it. It is on the fixed star Spica, which is the voice of angels. I think that this is going to bring an illumination and a communication from spirit. And it may sound like your own voice, but whatever it is, the revelation will be a divine one and it will be for your highest and greatest good. We also will have a new moon on the 27th of April at 7 degrees of Taurus. That'll be at 12:31 p.m. So be sure to look for those videos. The energies of March are very much drifting into April. For me, they're kind of 2 months in, or 1 month in 2 months, because we saw the energies of Mercury and Venus move from Aries into Pisces retrograde. They have remained retrograde, and now they will move forward and move back into Aries. So let's pull up the chart, take a peek at what's going on here because it's highlighting your second house and kind of your third house. The second house is a money access house. It is the second and the eighth house are a money access house. And the second house for you is also your skills and your talents. So as an Aquarius, you're very individualistic, very unique. Your mind works in ways that are really outside the box. And sometimes the muggles can't really handle it. But I think it's something to embrace because whatever you have in the way of creativity is calling to you right now. It's calling to you and it's saying there's the potential that you can actually make money and resources. And I think that that is evidenced by the trine from Mars in your sixth house to your second house activity. We see that Mercury is retrograde, the North Node is here, Venus is here, and Saturn is here. This is really the conversation is very much about, am I using my skills? Am I dreaming big enough? Am I allowing for the flow? Am I trusting spirit to have my back? We see also that this planetary activity is making a favorable sextile over here to Uranus. Uranus has been moving very slowly. It was at 23 degrees retrograding for the end of 2023. Then it moved forward and it's just now in March made a 1 degree move. So there's been sort of this stationing in your fourth house offering you a liberation. This is your ruling planet, Uranus, and Saturn is your co-ruling planet over here, sort of tasking you with the endurance, okay, and the ability to pace yourself as you birth this 2.0 version of yourself into your everyday life. That's that sixth house. When I go through this chart, and when I started kind of going through the days a little bit more, but we're looking at chunks of time in April because this stellium just continues on and on for almost the first half before we see Mercury move forward. Mercury will not move forward until the 7th. So let's go there. So Mercury moves forward at 26 degrees, still in a strong conversation with Mars. Saturn's in the strong conversation. Venus is in a strong conversation. She's slowing down. She's going to get to 24 degrees before she moves forward the next week. And now at the same time, we see that the Sun and Chiron are coming together. And this happens every year at this time, as long as Chiron has been in Aries. But now we're adding in the stellium in your second house, where you're really starting to look at how you're making your money. Am I using my skills? Am I expressing my truth through my voice? I think this is very powerful because when we get to the 11th, the 11th, we see that Chiron and the Sun have now in a conjunction at 22 degrees. The 22nd degree is a challenging degree. That's the die or to be killed degree. I think this is a rewrite of the ego. Initially, the ego is villainized for being too big and too loud and too me. The Sun is exalted in Aries in your third house. So this is where the Sun can be very powerful. And the transformation that's being offered is to kill off the dark side of the ego in our perception and go to the idea that the ego is now offering exciting God opportunities. And that's where the tension shows up between this configuration and Mars. It's a loose square, but it's a square nonetheless, because I have to trust something I can't see with my eyes, I can't touch with my fingers, I can't smell with my nose. It's all coming from some kind of intuitive knowing. And the thing about Aquarius is you really are quite futuristic and intuitive and seeing things and possibilities. But at the same time, the growing opposition between Pluto and Mars for the third time might be messing with you a little bit. It might be saying, I don't know, I have some anxiety underneath it all. I don't know if I can make it happen. That's the challenging thing about the Aquarian energy is it rules the nervous system. It rules large bodies of people, and large bodies of people have large opinions that they can pummel you with. So there is almost this sort of divine opportunity to stand in your own self-worth as you birth a new version of yourself into the earthly experience. And I think that's where Chiron turns into the gift rather than the wound. And it's strictly an awareness point. It's not an actual event where something dark moves away. It's just a perception and how you view it. On the 13th, Venus will move direct. We'll see that real quick. She's going to, again, the conversation with Mars continues on. I think all of these planets are taking their turn. It's like a big Zoom meeting. What are we going to do? Where are we going to go? And are we brave enough to embrace our uniqueness without feeling the loneliness that's attached to it? Because I believe that Aquarius is really going to stand in a much more connected energy moving forward. It's almost as if humanity and the earth plane, as we start to explore space, literally, and become part of a galactic community, it makes the Aquarian energy feel more, quote unquote, normal and accepted and embraced. So you're preparing for all of that now. On the 16th, we see Mercury move into Aries, and it becomes conjunct with Neptune on the world axis. That 0 degree of Aries is a really powerful degree for manifesting. It's the first energy that the soul experiences as it inhabits the density of the physical experience. So now Mercury is going to start to have new thoughts, individual thoughts, pioneering thoughts, spiritual thoughts. On the 18th, we see that Mars moves into Leo, and it's so happy to move into Leo. Honestly, Mars has been in Cancer for quite some time, and Mars also retrograded back in 2022, 2023 in Gemini. So Mars has had to do a lot of revisiting of how it interacts with people, how it thinks, how it emotes, and how it honors the emotions of others, as well as its own intuition. As it moves into the Leo energy, yes, this opposition could be a little bit sketchy initially because it could feel very tense, very almost like you're, a rubber man, a tug of war being pulled from one end to the other, because the psychological nature of Pluto in your first house could have you doubting yourself, and Pluto is stationing to go retrograde. And it's going to retrograde back to about 0 degrees, I believe, and then move forward again. It's not going to go back into the Capricorn energy at all. So it's really going to be a review of these initial degrees of your first house. And if for some reason you're in Aquarius and this in Placidus, this pushes it into your 12th house, it's going to disrupt some old psychological habits that your soul has and bring forth an opportunity to be brave in reconciling them and integrating them into your experience so that you can use them as tools rather than anchors. All right, let's go now to the 19th, where we see Venus. Oh, well, she's still in the sextile. I'm sorry. I don't know why I wrote this down twice for some reason I want to go to the 25th. Venus is now in an exact sextile over here to Uranus. I think that as she's moved forward, what this could bring is an epiphany. It really just suddenly, I'm like, oh my God, I don't know why I've looked at this dynamic in my family my whole life and never noticed it, or I never was able to reconcile it or work through it. And now all of a sudden it just pops. And sometimes, it's kind of funny. You can hear something 100 times, and the 101th time you hear it, it connects in a deeper way that makes more sense. This could be what's happening here. All right, now I'm going to jump way over to the 25th, where we're going to see the exact opposition between Pluto and Mars. And for some reason, this hits me for Aquarius. That 3rd degree is the Gemini degree of thinking. And here we've had this whole retrograde of Mercury in your 2nd house, and now, moving back into your 3rd house. What do I think about my talents, my skills, my ability to create, my community? Will I be embraced? So I think, and again, Pluto is stationing to retrograde in May. So I think this tension could very well be about, if you think differently than the people that you're partnered with, that you partner not only in your intimate life, but also in your potential work life, professional life. Because again, if we move this into Placidus, this could shift that opposition into your 12th and 6th house quite easily. So this is pretty intense. Now let's go to the last day of the month. And here's where we see Venus join Neptune here in Aries. Neptune and Venus are very good friends. So here they are in new territory traveling together. And they are literally talking about, how can I be brave? How can I be a spiritual warrior for my truth, for what I think, for what I want to create on this planet? I don't know if I believe that Venus is in so much detriment anymore in Aries. I believe this is a new dawn, a new day, a new age, and Venus is a receptive energy. And as she understands that gestation, the creation of anything, takes a little bit of human time, because we need to catch our beliefs up with our actions, I think we're going to start to really see you personally have more spiritual connection with your soul and start to think like that. It's like you're pioneering a whole new way of thinking. And that individual way of thinking is going to manifest in ways that will serve humanity, I think, ultimately. So while the energies of March and April feel very similar to me, they really do. I mean, we don't have the eclipses, but eclipses sometimes don't reveal themselves immediately. It can take 6 months. So somewhere, I believe this stellium is calling forth an awareness of the soul that lives within the physical shell, and asking the soul to step forward and take the center stage, to take the lead part in this play that we're living. And I think that Aquarius, in many ways, is leading the charge into the future. So, your intention and your focus this month and your willingness to also want to offer this to my Aquariuses. If you get that weird anxiety, like something, sometimes Aquarians can feel that anxiousness because you rule the nervous system. Oftentimes, that is spirit telling you that you're moving into a muggle mind or a muggle experience, and you have an opportunity to be aware of that and then make a decision. Because sometimes it's good to go into the muggle energy for a while, and then you can go into the vision of the future. All right, that's it for me for April. Again, my name is Teri Hunter. Thanks for watching. Thanks for liking. Thanks for commenting. I'll be back in May. See you soon.